I don't look that old, but I have been a developer for quite a while. And now I haven't authored those 2 books. I have been in those 2 books. I wish I had authored those 2 books. But I have been in AI development for all this time. I'm a geek. I love geeking out on things, and I like innovating. I have fun with those things. So I started with AI before AI was cool. Before I was really afraid of AI, to tell you the truth. It started with Skeletor-bot. And Skeletor-bot was, I was in my 20s, and I wanted to have fun at a Halloween party is how it started. Yeah, I wanted to do something interesting at a Halloween party, and I found the skeleton at Big Lots, and it was like $10, and you can put a microphone in it. And of course it came with a standard microphone, and I think that's how most normal people engaged with Skeletor, as I call him. But I thought, ooh, wouldn't this be fun to have him talk to people and engage with them? So that's what started me down this journey. So, yeah, so what I did is you were asking, was this in-house? What did I use? How did I build them? I'm going to tell you before I get into my speech how Skeletor was born. Skeletor was born because of this Halloween party, and I hooked up audio to him, hooked the audio up to my computer, and then I started working on the software. And I thought, how am I going to do this? So, well, you need something, you need a brain, you need something to come up with the responses. So I knew that I need to come up with something. So I found something called Alice. Alice was AIML, Artificial Intelligence Markup Language. It wasn't super sophisticated, but it was better than, if this, then this. It was a lot better than that. So I could get Skeletor to the point using this Alice bot, which worked through AIML, to a point where it was, he was saying novel responses or semi-novel responses, things that were related to each other. Way different than ChatGPT today, but something.
And then which year was this?
This was in the late 90s, early 2000s. Late 90s, thank you. I'll keep moving over.
Yeah.
Keep bumping into it, I'm sure.
Sometimes people actually have
I get enthusiastic. It was late 90s, early 2000s, before I had my daughter in 2003, because that sort of changes life just a little. So yes, that's his brains, and then I knew I needed to have some speech recognition, and then I needed to generate audio as well. So how did I do that? Well, speech recognition was fairly trivial back with Microsoft stuff. I think I used a couple of technologies. I started with just Microsoft. Does anybody remember Petey the parrot or something? Anyways, you guys are younger than me, I think. Anyways, Microsoft had some cool speech recognition technology, and there were other open source technologies as well as that I used. That was relatively a simple effort, and then I sewed that speech to text in, took the text in the back end, put it in this Alice bot. The Alice bot came back with the response, and so I had text response, and from that I pushed it out into a text-to-speech engine, turned it into an MP3. You're all tech folks, right? I'm not totally like boring anyone yet. Okay. So usually people are like, whatever, lady. And then it pushed it out to an MP3. So, and voila, the MP3, boom, right in the back of Skeletor's head was the audio input. And voila, there's Skeletor. And that was that. And so I got hooked after that. And after that, I took it to another place where I created Zoe-bot. And Zoe-bot was the version of Skeletor that wasn't in person, it was online. And I did Zoe-bot very similarly. But the fun thing with Zoe-bot that I got to explore were the phoneme patterns and I don't think I invented this thing, but the visemes, the visual representation of the phonemes and what those look like. What does it look like when we're saying th or th,
sure.
Right? So, trying to figure that out. So Zoe-bot was in couple of different incarnations. She had a Flash incarnation, if you guys remember Adobe Flash, sort of. And then that all went away. So then she had a SVG incarnation, and way back when Adobe had an SVG version that you could program a little bit, which was cool because I was able to do motion as well as take an audio and try to sync those up. So she was in an incarnation like that. And then the last incarnation of Zoe-bot was an MP4. So I took her in very similarly, and there was a open source program I made where, somebody else made and I used that took basically stills that were created of each, so think like a PNG or something, right? And it's just images one after another, and I just sewed those together and made a movie out of it. Anyways, that's what got me hooked on teching for over 20 years in one way, shape, or form. I started as a little kid. My dad brought home IBM computer and said, "Mel, you're gonna love this." And I said, "Oh, okay." And it was a big old computer with a CRT, one of those old monitors that are black with the green letters, okay? And it's this huge, huge piece of machinery. And I'm sitting there, and there's like this floppy disk. They're about this size, they're floppy. And I thought, okay, and I just took it and I put it in the slot, and it was a word processing program. I didn't know that back then, but I'm like, oh, it's like a typewriter, and I started typing on it. Okay, that's boring. Okay, what else am I gonna do? What else could I do? There was a book, so it was that and a book. And so I opened the book, and I didn't know it was programming, but it was programming. I started writing it line by line. 10. Print Mel. 20. Go to 10. And it said Mel, 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 Mel. And I was so excited because I was the youngest of two, and nobody listened to me. But the computer listened to it. The computer totally listened to me. So it was very exciting. So that's how I got my start. And since then, long story short, I ended up founding We Can Code It 10 years ago. That's a very long story short, by the way. And I have helped over 2,000 people start their journeys in tech through We Can Code It. And we focus on inclusion and diversity. You know, we started as a women's organization, then we expanded into a inclusion-based organization. So we help all sorts of people out now, but that is our beginning. And as we transition, and why I find this interesting is life is a big transition, isn't it? You would have thought that maybe over the past decade, my title hasn't changed, my role you'd think hasn't changed, but boy, has my career transitioned as I have gone from being a new founder to being somebody, I hope, more seasoned and experienced than in my past. And so I want to explore 4 key elements with you today regarding my journey. I'm going to start with vision. So as I was thinking about what I wanted to speak on, I thought, you know, I went through and I said, okay, what are the common denominators here? Vision was the first one. You have to be able to see yourself in where you want to be. You have to believe it. Where do you want to be? Do you want to live? What kind of life do you want to live? Do you want to live a small life, just not taking any risks? Or do you want to live a life that was intended for you and help create your life? And with that in mind, you might say, oh, I want to be this, but I can't see myself there. I don't have that. That's not me. I'm not experienced enough, or I'm not creative enough, or I'm not. You are, but you need to gain confidence. And you have something different than I have. You have something that is unique and special to you, that you get to bring to the table. But the problem might be your confidence, and that's what I suspect most of vision problems are confidence problems. But the good news is confidence can be built. It is a skill, like development is a skill, like QA is a skill, like project management is a skill, like leadership is a skill. These are skills. How do you do it? Take one small step at a time. I want you to fill in the blank in your head. This year, I want to, in 10 years, I want to fill in the blank. Can you see it? Sort of. Okay. How do you get from point A to point B? Start doing things. Don't procrastinate. Take a step. Does it have to be a big step? No. It could be coming over here and turning your computer on. No, it doesn't have to be a huge step. It can simply be, let's say you're afraid to be in front of crowds, but you want to be a speaker. Potentially your first step is, hey, I'm going to speak up at a meeting tomorrow. It's taking those small steps and getting positive feedback. And it's taking another little step and getting positive feedback. This is not necessarily taking any huge leap. You don't have to. Don't freak out about it. Just take a small step forward. That way you will gain confidence. And trust me, the steps that used to feel huge, but you might see as very small, of those steps, your steps are going to get bigger and feel the same. They're going to even get bigger. It's sort of like time, as you go on with time, how it feels like it's faster. Same with chances in taking risks that gain confidence. You're going to take bigger risks and they're going to feel the same proportionally, right, as the smaller steps you take earlier on in your career. So you're able to do more. And this is something, all of these things are things that I have never stopped doing, by the way. You're always taking risks, right? You're always trying to build your confidence. There are only a couple of people in the world that I know have maybe too much confidence. The rest of us need to practice more. And that is the first thing I would suggest, but that is not all. Second thing, to changing careers, becoming a leader, whatever you're looking to do, is developing your skills. Developing your skills. So I have a story about We Can Code It, and when I founded We Can Code It. I am a developer. I feel confident in my development skills. I'm also an educator. I love teaching people, and I've always had one foot in education. So I felt great about those, and maybe I was had too much hubris, right? And when I started with We Can Code It, I thought, I'm a developer. I don't need, other people that are starting programs like this, they're not developers, they're not educators. I have so much on them, I've got this. Wow, did I learn a lot over the past decade. Things I did not know. Things I did not know could fill a book. And I am still learning. I am still learning and engaging. Things like appreciating, and this is a big one for me, appreciating that it isn't just me, that other people with maybe skills in communication that maybe I thought, well, those aren't tech skills. Those are easy, soft skills. Wow, are those skills important? Oh, yeah. I had a problem when I first started We Can Code It, and this is embarrassing. I had high turnover, like crazy high turnover. I thought, well, I'm putting my vision out there. I'm emailing people or saying something once. They've got this. They understand what's in my mind. Whoa, they didn't. And, well, I'm the visionary, right? They'll understand. They should follow what I want them to follow. Here's where we're all going. Mind blown, right? Wow, wake up, Melanie. No, other people have really amazing skills. And that's something that I have learned over the past decade to really appreciate. And that was a gift to me. That was a gift because I love people's stories, but now I love saying, oh, what's your superpower? And how can we work together? And tell me about yourself. I mean, it's really cool to be able to appreciate other people like that and bring in skills. And for me, those skills were communication, a lot of soft skills I needed, right? But in this age of AI, what else do we need? We need to be learning constantly. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm always reading. I'm always watching something educational. It's part of my job these days, right? It's a duty of mine to keep up on this and informed so that, there we go, I think, so that, you know, I can keep up for everybody else that I have to serve. But skill building is super important, never stop, don't have the hubris that I had. And budgeting. Budgeting's huge. I was never really into finances. Boy, do I have a new appreciation for those folks. This one might be, I want to say this is the most important one, and that's the most important one, but cultivating resilience. I had, late 22 and early 23 were earth-shattering.
Yeah.
Earth-shattering. I don't know how you all felt as you experienced AI and then layoffs and the world shifting, your whole earth shifting underneath your feet. But I felt that too. So here we are, AI's coming out, and I'm thinking, this is cool. And at the same time, my nerdy self, yay! And then my business owner, everything else going, am I even relevant anymore? Am I even relevant? Will I have a job? Will We Can Code It continue? And I was lucky enough to have a group of peers, and I'm going to give a shout out, Entrepreneurs Organization, as well as Women in Tech organizations, to lean on at that point in time to help guide me. Because when I was in that mode of layoffs, teaching people how to go into software development, and they're getting laid off. This is the first time I've ever experienced this kind of decline. And will AI be able to replace all of our jobs? I mean, I thought it was special. What? So going into that was incredibly frightening. And on top of all of that, I was planning on, I had a new house. I had big plans. We were expanding it, We Can Code It. I mean, we had a stellar year right before that. I had Amazon Career Choice as a partner. What do we do? I had great friends tell me, whatever you do, don't give up unless you are forced to. Like, unless you cannot borrow another penny, kind of forced to. And I believe that is, and I said, yep. And that helped me gain some firm ground to stand on. Now you might say, well, I don't have a company. I'm sure you can relate to this in some way, shape, or form though. Same thing, right? How am I gonna afford my house? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do next in my career? You know, I wanted to go on vacation and I wanted to get this new place, and all of these dreams you have come shattering down, or perception of them, you know, comes to a rude awakening. So, after I got my bearings, I said, okay, what else could we do? So, moved from just software development, started planning on cybersecurity, data analytics, AI. You need skills in those, we need trainings. Then, so I added those programs to the curriculum. After that, what else can we do? What else can we do? So you start getting creative, problem solving. You're all, sure, fantastic problem solvers. I don't know any person in tech who's not a good problem solver. This is a superpower, right? What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Then took said, oh, we have coding boot camps. Are coding boot camps in tech boot camps, are they even right anymore? Do we need to get even more modularized? Do we need to get things even smaller, right, at the core? So yes, we switched over to not only having, now we're at a both and scenario, boot camps, tech, and small skill-based micro-credential trainings that are stackable. So you need to learn Python because Python's really big right now. Boom, we have Python. Go ahead.
So just to ask, the solution which you were explaining was for We Can Code It.
Yes.
Organization, you were trying to figure out the stages of how to improve it and keep it aligned with the growing technology.
Exactly.
And
yes.
those were and you have classes and everything in the
Exactly. So yeah, I was trying to figure out what to do, and I'm trying to say it's not, transitions are always going to happen. So hang in there, don't give up, right? And this, I'm thinking, grit and perseverance and hard work are so important to this overall transitional strategy. Yeah.
So to join the boot camp and everything, we have to actually follow through a class path or something, or?
Oh, yeah, I wasn't even trying to promote it, but I'm happy to. I was trying to explain some of the things, and I'm sorry for going off track. My notes, I just gave up on those. I'm hardly getting the computer to stay on. So I'm just, going off, telling you some of my stories. Yeah, so let me help organize. Thank you for helping me organize my thoughts. We have programs that we can code. We teach people tech. It started off as a coding boot camp, and because of this, software development is it even going to be here, right? Were my thoughts originally. How do we protect ourselves from the future? How do you keep going? Yeah.
So you basically prepared for the worst and hoped for the best throughout the experience?
Absolutely. Succinctly said, yes. Prepared for the worst. And thought, but I don't know if it's just preparing for the worst. I think it's setting us up for more success in the future. Because I do believe having that kind of adversity, having those problems, helps me get to a point where I was feeling like, what do I do if, right? So it's that preparation for the worst. And it's also something where I'm like, wait, where is this really going? Where's this really all heading? I need smaller micro-credentials. Here's my solution to solving this problem and working with people who are already in tech, not just who want to break in. So now we have a solution that is a both-and solution, where I was really leaning on the original one, and it was getting to a point where it was a flywheel, which was nice, but isn't life fun, where it says, haha, don't get too comfortable because we're going to change things up on you again. So my point is, if you are also experiencing something where you feel like, I'm not relevant anymore, my job's going away, it's take a deep breath, hang on, you got it, you can make it through, do everything you can to persevere. When you have that moment to breathe, then consider your other options. What do you need to learn? In this case, I'm talking about resiliency, and maybe you need to learn more skills or have a different attitude, etc. Yeah.
So Mel, based on your experience, what skill sets do you think cannot be replaced by AI?
Oh yeah, all of the ones I think I'm telling you, absolutely. I think our creativity and problem solving, our empathy, our human connection. I mean, just that empathetic, the communication we have, I think is irreplaceable. I really do. I think there's more. Those are the ones that are coming top of mind right now, but this human connection, being here right now with all of you and seeing you and experiencing this and being able to shift in real time with you to talk about different things, because maybe I'm not following the path you want me to follow, and you want me to talk about something else, or you have a question. I'm here to answer those things. So, yeah, go ahead.
I think because of the measurement of people in the room, I think it would be good to understand, because AI actually needs a lot of coding right now too, with the machine learning and deep learning and everything.
Yeah.
First step is to have machine learning.
Mm-hmm.
To know machine learning, you need to have very good skills of coding, coding skills, and understanding what is outcome, what is source, how does it actually react to certain piece of code. So if we want to step into AI, machine learning is a very good thing. So coding is a very good platform.
Absolutely.
And We Can Code IT is a very good place where you actually teach people how to code.
Absolutely.
Right? So what is it that you're expecting a person to understand when they step into coding, and how would you train them to be eligible for AI? Because there are two ways to analyze AI. One is to actually code, have machine learning algorithm, and then actually once you have those blocks set, the layers of that blocks develops into deep learning. And once the deep learning actually understands and is capable of understanding those layers, and also gets a feed of data around the surrounding sections of human existence, it can actually figure out patterns, and those patterns it can collide against that code and say, okay, yes, this is a good outcome, this is a bad outcome, this is what it is, this is how you can visualize it, and this is how I should do a pick up a cup versus this is a box versus a chair.
Yeah, exactly.
So those are the kind of things which are evolving. And to be in the real world, like you said, you have to be more agile now.
Absolutely.
You have to keep learning.
Yes.
And we have to actually try to guide that pathway in a little bit more mature way. Once we actually have that guided path in a mature way, we can reach the outcomes what we need in certain standards.
100%.
So
That's true, yeah.
So my question was, can you explain to, I'm sorry, I just keep going back
It's
to
all
the
good.
company, but
Yeah.
the organization, how do you actually evolve people to that kind of coding, and what are the main applications which as a company, you guys are promoting for the people to come and learn, or actually try to see how they can promote that knowledge if they join
Yeah.
in their organizations, or how is it helpful, basically?
How is
for them
We Can
to do
Code It
that? How
helpful?
how can they take the strength from We Can Code It
Absolutely.
into their organizations? Because at the end of the day, we need food and money.
Yeah, right. Well,
So-
I want to hit that last point too about, I do have one more point I wanted. Can we bracket this for 1 second? Because I'm happy to talk about We Can Code It all
Yes.
day. And I want to tell you about the micro-credential classes we have and how
Okay.
different companies and different individuals can take advantage of it, because we have a lot of free offerings to Ohioans, which is, believe it or not, the state of Ohio has grants called
Yes.
Tech Cred and IMAP, and we're part of that, and I want you all to know about that and what's coming up hopefully next year with IMAP so that you can take advantage of it. I'm going to bring it on home, and then I want to answer some of the other questions we have. Is that all right?
Yeah, that would be
All
good.
right. I love this audience. My point with all of this here is, don't give up the ship. Don't give up, keep going. There's plenty to do, and that's exactly right. Computers, AI right now, cannot exist in the real world. There's so much of a runway right now for it to establish itself that we still need data folks. We still need cyber folks, and also fiber folks. We still need developers, and we have to start thinking about the skills you can take from where you are and what you can apply. Don't forget your humanity in this, because that's one thing that adding it to your skill set really makes you special. To bring out your skills with your personality, wow, that's like, did you ever see an amazing jazz musician? Their personality shines through. AI, all of these things, they're just tools, they're your instruments. Learn how to play them and learn how to play them well, but then remember to bring yourself back into the picture.
Yeah.
The last point here is self-promotion. So changing, any kind of change you do, promote it. I used to think that this was bragging. And I was brought up to not brag. I am supposed to be humble and I will work hard. I will work hard. I see a lot of people nodding, right? Right? And maybe women are taught this more than men.
Yeah, very true.
Maybe we're taught this more, and this is something. I want you to say, does that serve me anymore? Does that serve me? How can I change? Self-promotion is not bragging. This is showing people, here's how I shifted that script for myself. I started thinking, I need to tell people how I can help them. If I don't explain this, how's anybody gonna know? Or I need to share this as a blog post or on LinkedIn or YouTube so that other people can learn. That's how I, shifted my perception of it, so it wasn't bragging. Maybe, find what strikes you with your values. See what works for you and your values, because you need to, if your values aren't in front of you here, you're gonna lose interest. You'll never commit to any of this. You'll never do any of this. You need to find what works for you. What worked for me is I'm teaching people. I'm sharing what I can do so I can help them. Not, I'm bragging, right? I'm sharing my strengths with them. So go ahead, try it. And again, if this comes back to confidence, if you're nervous, don't go out there and be like, I am going to go in front of 500 people and give a speech. Now, start, right? I'm guessing folks can raise their hand and do a presentation at NEOWIT, right? Or an online presentation, or how about a small blog post, or just raising your hand in the boardroom. I have an idea, boss. Oh, you do? Yeah, do you mind if I share this with you? Can we? Oh, okay, yeah. Stuff's like that. Real quick story. You know who taught me this? One of my employees. This is recent. Since the pandemic happened, we're all working from home. And I'm thinking, especially when I'm stressed out, I'm stressed out, I'm thinking, I'm working hard and nobody's working hard with me, for me, right? So I'm playing this game with myself. I'm working so hard, everybody else is petting their dog and playing video games. And so, make up these stories. We're making up stories and we're inventing our stories, right? Our world is all an invention and we're making up what we see. So I had an employee come in and she started doing these reports, weekly reports. And it was on Monday. And she would write, here's what I did last week. Day by day, by day, by day, by day. Here's what I'm going to do this week. Put it out there. And I thought, she's the best employee ever. She's awesome, right? And she was doing this the whole time. It's just, I wasn't aware of it. She wasn't promoting herself before. Know that nobody's gonna know. Nobody is gonna know unless you tell them. So that's another reason to self-promote.
Even your own boss.
Even your own boss. They're gonna think, I'm working so hard for me, and somebody's playing video games. So in any transition or leadership or career transition, this is what, for me, it boils down to. Having the vision. How do you get the vision? You need confidence. So take baby steps there. Skills, 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 skills. And none of this is a one and done effort. These are continuous efforts. Resilience, staying flexible and persistent in the face of challenges. And don't forget, and we can call this teaching others. We don't have to call it self-promotion. You don't have to say bragging. You could say, teaching others, helping others see what I did this week. Giving someone a report. How's that? So my hope is that you can take some of this information. It's something here. And I'm so excited that you have promoted We Can Code It, and I'm excited to answer those questions. And I have it up here, wecancodeit.org. Here are some micro-credentials that you might be interested in. So we have beginning, intermediate, advanced Python. These are really short classes, and wow, we have some amazing instructors teaching these. So we are an award-winning program. I'm really proud and really appreciate the hard work of my instructors. Some phenomenal folks there, really phenomenal. Beginning Python, cross your fingers for us that we get this IMAP grant again next year, because IMAP is the individual micro-credential something program with the state of Ohio. It's a grant that they have awarded us in the past, so hopefully it will continue. Other institutions have the IMAP grant as well, a good handful of them, and they teach different courses. The ones that we anticipate will fall under this IMAP grant next year include beginning Python. We have ChatGPT and an introduction to prompt engineering. So if you're not good, if you don't understand prompt engineering, if you're just treating it like Google right now when you're in ChatGPT, take this ChatGPT course, because it will teach you a good foundational skills for getting the most out of your conversations with large language models like ChatGPT, right? Developing AI apps. Now that one I don't think we have IMAP for, but there's another program. If you're employed with an Ohio employer, Tech Cred should be able to cover it. Or guess what? Maybe they just want to pay for it because you're awesome. So we have one on developing AI apps, and then we have our boot camps in software development, cyber, and data, and then we have Power BI, we have statistics, we have dot. We have a lot of courses, and we have a new website that's coming out that's gonna actually tell you all of these courses in a really beautiful way, so it's a lot easier to register, because right now our website doesn't have a cart on it.
Mel,
These
quick
are all-
question.
Yes.
Are most of these online or are they in person?
Great question. They are instructor-led, but online.
Online.
Yes.
So is it limited to only Northeast Ohio?
No.
No. So anyone can pay for it and
Yep.
attend it. Okay.
Absolutely. You know, this is where we started. We started in Northeast Ohio, and then we had a campus in Columbus and went nationwide. Like I mentioned, we had Amazon, you know, so they were sending hundreds of folks our way.
That's nice.
Yeah, well, it was, yeah. It was
How
good.
does the grant, how does the Ohio grant work to promote this piece of, like, is it a grant only for the organizations who can uplift the software technology inside the state, or is it, how does the grant actually promote the corporations?
Awesome. Okay, so we have 2 grants. One is IMAP, the Micro Credential Program. That is for any Ohioan.
Okay.
We like to try to provide that to folks who need it most.
Mm-hmm.
So we promote IMAP for folks who are underemployed and unemployed. However, technically, it's available to any Ohioan. If you are employed in Ohio and your employer is an Ohio company, there's something called Tech Cred. Tech Cred, yeah, Tech Cred's awesome. It's and we're happy to help. It's not very difficult. It's an online application. We're happy to walk anyone through it. If you even have, like, if you're a solopreneur, if you're a freelancer, you can take advantage of it. It's cool. So yes, if you're interested in taking advantage of it, definitely visit We Can Code It, and or email me. I'm mel@wecancodeit.org. It's super simple. I really hope you connect with me. This is my LinkedIn. If we're not buddies on LinkedIn, say NEOWIT and just connect, and I'll be like, yes. Okay. I have, and I was smiling as you were talking about your new, you know, social media presence in different places.
Yeah.
I have a brand new channel, like launched it. This is a personal channel. I have my We Can Code It channel, but I thought I want my personal channel as well, so I can do my own things on it. So this is a YouTube personal channel, and I have all my socials at Mel McGee Tech. Please follow me. I have like maybe 15 YouTube followers right now, so get in while the going's, well, it's early in the days. Tech Cred is available for Ohio employers. If you are employed in Ohio, contact me, and I'm going to help you get in there, because you can take anything, and it's not just tech. Let's pretend you have a company, or you're employed by a company, and there are other people involved in the company, as I would expect there would be. Bookkeepers, well, they could take advantage of Tech Cred by taking like a QuickBooks class or something, you know. Marketing people, there's marketing courses and the like. They're all tech related, and they're all micro credentials, so that's what they're going for with Tech Cred. And all of our courses are potentially able to be covered under Tech Cred. I can't say that the government's going to, you know, whoever's saying check, yes, approved, is going to approve any particular thing, but usually they will. I've seen really amazing results from it. Up to $180,000 of free training a year.
Wow.
Per company. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah. And then if again, if you're like in a spot where you're like, I'm not employed, or I'm underemployed, or, you know, or anything like that, or my employer isn't in Ohio and they won't help sponsor me for a course for upskilling, we have IMAP grants for a lot of our courses as well. And we have an intro to programming, an intro to cybersecurity, an intro to data analytics with Excel. Those are all IMAP approved courses as well. Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome. Does that answer questions? Anything else? On my YouTube channel. Yeah.
You mentioned that you recently started doing things with cybersecurity.
Yes.
Could you go more in depth with that?
Yeah, we have a cybersecurity analytics boot camp. What does that mean? That means it's we have courses that will take you, and I'll put this back up if anybody needs it, that will take you from, we have a beginner's course which is called Intro to Cybersecurity that you could just take if you're curious and want to learn more. As a developer, I don't know, do we have other developers in the room? Yeah, okay, so you know how it is, like, I don't know about you, but it's like cybersecurity people are getting in the way of my progress. That's how I always thought of them. Like, stop putting those firewalls on. I can't get to the database. Stop, you know. So I didn't know a lot about cybersecurity in the past. So if you're like me, Intro to Cybersecurity is perfect for you. It'll teach you basics of cyber. I think there's some, if you don't know any Linux commands, I'm sure there's some Linux commands and then that they're going to teach you stuff like that. They're going to teach you about basic networking protocols. You're going to learn about how hackers are trying to get into your system, all the common cybersecurity folk kind of fears. And oh, who has seen HeyGen? Have you guys seen HeyGen yet?
No.
Okay, go check out HeyGen when you get to your computer when you get home. You'll see why cybersecurity professionals are getting super freaked out, because it's so easy to create your own video avatar now using a very simple free tool like HeyGen with an amazing user interface. Anyway, we'll teach you stuff like that, and then we have a cyber boot camp, and the cyber boot camp goes all the way through anything for a like a CompTIA Security Plus kind of certification. That's what it teaches you, skills for that. Does that help? And,
Yes.
and I would suggest that if you go to wecancodeit.org and just look at courses, you can grab a syllabus so you can find out exactly the different modules and the like, and our admissions folks. You can take parts of it too. Yeah. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Yeah.
I'm a front-end developer, and just to say, like, I think that your coding boot camps are still so important, like beyond AI. Like, I think it's more important now than ever with AI becoming so big that people still get that good foundation and that good base in coding and programming, because as you say, AI really is just a tool, and the people using that tool, I think, still need a really good understanding of what that tool is producing.
Yeah.
So I would still highly applaud those foundational classes as being so relevant, so important, and yeah, not something to give up on just because AI is, coming to town.
I'm putting you all on my board of directors. You're all like, I'm like, thank you. Yes, 100%. And I started doing code with AI. So on this little YouTube channel I have, right now it's little, it's gonna get big. Lots of vision there. I started using Claude. Has anyone used Claude? Yeah, Claude is awesome at coding, awesome. However, my partner Dave is really bad at tech. Like, it's funny. Boy, do I love him, but oh, he's horrible. Like, he can't use the remote. Anyway, he's looking at me as I'm doing this with Claude, and Claude's like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm looking, he's like, what do I do with that? And that was like step one, step one of what Claude was doing. Even to work with coding, AI coding tools, you still need to be a software developer.
Yeah.
And I am starting to see software development pick back up in the job market too. So I have different relationships with different organizations, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, Progressive. I'm starting to see more requisitions for they're reaching back out. They're reaching back out, which is like, okay, everybody is realizing nope, we're not going to be able to lay off all our software developers, I guess.
Everything can be replaced by AI.
Yeah, exactly.
The brain
can't
behind AI.
get rid of our technologists quite yet. We still need technologists. But yeah, thank you for the vote of confidence, and thanks for, yes, we do need tech, we do need developers, we do need skills, and explaining beautifully machine learning before, and how that really integrates with everything. Absolutely, 100%. Like, to be able to learn all these skills, you know, and that could start with very simple Python skills, right? Python is such a lovely language if you haven't learned any coding skills before. It's really simple, it's beautiful, and AI can even help you with it, and maybe you can embrace it to expand your skills and have it teach you, but not overly rely on it, so that it's just like, okay, I'm going to follow whatever the computer tells me to do. Now, I'll stop talking. I really appreciate all of you and welcoming me here and adding to the conversation, and thank you so much. What a great experience today.
Excellent.